right, y'all. We about to talk about day 20, 21, and day 22. Like, I had to take a break from doing these videos and just basically give y'all a freaking wrap up. And it won't be that long because really ain't much to talk about when it comes to this Jane person, because let me tell y'all something. There's a difference between Cassie and Jane. There is a clear-cut difference. Cassie was the timid young woman who was just being naive, who got caught up in this relationship that ended up being abusive, that turned into sex trafficking, that turned into her whole world being upside down with freak-offs. Jane, the mature woman that participated in the hotel nights, yeah, like a Arabian there, yeah, her, two totally different situations. Now, both of them still got tat-tat-tatted. Both of them was still in an abusive relationship, and I'm not taking like that when I say tat-tat-tatted. I'm just saying both of them was in a abusive relationship. They both were. But the dynamics of Cassie and the dynamics of Jane is totally different. Jane did it because she wanted a lifestyle that she wanted and she had gotten accustomed to. Okay, let's go ahead and cut the bull. Everybody already know who Jane is, okay? So she had got accustomed to a lifestyle and she went after the arch enemy of her baby daddy. It's just, I don't know how else to say this, okay? And he, at the time, and still it sort of is, have a lot of money and she could get whatever she needed from whatever she wanted. So they had a great relationship for 3 years. I mean, she herself was talking about how lovely and beautiful it was until he introduced her into these hotel nights that I discussed in my previous video. Well, hotel nights turned into freak-offs because that's all it was anyway. It was never anything else. It just took him 3 years. I get old age. It took him a little time to get to the freak-off part. It was the hotel, more mature, and then the freak came back out. Like, oh, what they say, Rick James said, I'll be your freak, so come on and wipe me out. And that wasn't Rick James. That was who was that anyway? Freak. Yeah. I guess every generation got their own definition of a freak off, right? Okay. Well, for my generation, because I'm in the generation of Diddy. Yeah. This was his. And okay, so Jane was not in the same category as Cassie. She wasn't. In fact, she was a more mature woman. Although, she probably had accolades of a young woman. A lot of older women still look sort of young if they keep up with themselves. And with all the money that he was throwing her way, $10,000 to pay her apartment and all that great stuff, she was able to keep up with herself. And she was an OnlyFans, so she had to keep up with a look, I'm sure, so totally different dynamics. Now, I'm not adding to the fact that what Diddy did, because no, he was still wrong either way it went, and he needs to pay for what he did, no matter what. And I just don't see the whole dynamics of what Cassie went through, what she went through. The whole organization wasn't dragging her back in. They wasn't manipulating her. They wasn't putting their hands into the orchestration of her freak-offs, aka her hotel nights. She basically was doing it because she wanted to please Diddy, and whatever he wanted, she wanted to give it to him. In fact, she felt like she just had to in order to keep them damn $10,000, right? And whatever else he was giving her. I mean, what they said, $1,500 for a dinner. I mean, frivolously spending money around here, as well as giving her for what she was. She was just a glorified, prostitute. That's basically what she was to Diddy. Once he realized this mature woman was willing to do the things that a young woman was, I guess he no longer viewed her as the woman he thought she was, but, oh, she's a freak undercover. He was just a PIMP, pimp daddy, her pimp daddy. Pimp daddy, her pimp daddy. Pimp daddy. In fact, she said she felt at times that she was a she's a that she was a garden to, okay, about the stuff that she was doing. And when she got on that, like let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so when they're your client, whether you're the prosecutor and you're testifying for the prosecutor, or they're the defense and you're their witness and you're for them, whenever they're directly talking to you, it's not going to come off harsh. They might bring some things up, but they're not going to come to you as harsh as the other party will. But like for the prosecution, the defense is going to rip you a new one. And for the defense, the prosecutor is going to find a way to make sure that everybody know you're lying. Okay, so it's always going to be an adversary when it comes to the other party addressing or directing questions to an individual, like they're cross-examining him. Because it is not going to be the same as if you were speaking on their behalf. But see, something about Jane just not sitting right with me, because see, with Jane, she comes off as she really ain't there for the prosecution, even though she's telling the story because she can't purge herself or she gonna go to jail. She has to tell the truth, but the way she's telling the truth just seems more so for the defendant, for the defense. In fact, I think at some point they probably try to make it seem like, it was the prosecution that forced her to do this versus she doing it on her own. In fact, she was with him up until he got arrested, right? I think what happened basically with her is after he realized he could do what he was doing in his younger days with this older woman, that part of him resurfaced, and whatever demon he was struggling with, along with everything else he was doing, kind of kicked in with her, because now, he got it back. He didn't know he couldn't have it with you, and now he got it back with you. And so he can show you who he really is. And I'm sure he was probably plotting on the next woman or whatever. So she was willing to do whatever it was for Diddy, and she did a lot. And matter of factly, some of her days seemed like they was even longer than Cassie's. I mean, she seemed like she was going for days and days and days. Trying to please her man. This is what he wanted. She wanted to please him. In fact, she keep referring to him as her baby, and she loved him, and he just used her. It sounded like a woman scorned more so than a woman trafficked, or a woman doing something against her will. All right, and I'm not victim shaming her or anything else. It is what it is. She see opportunity. Now she see an opportunity to keep whatever status quo she has, and she wants her part of it for what she felt she endured. And remember, she herself is saying that she did it because she wanted to please him, but she only got upset because she found out the other women that he was with, who was much younger than her, wasn't having to do what she had to do, such as Young Miami and the other women that he was pursuing all throughout their relationship, because he can't be with one woman. He has to be with multiple women. His ego just won't let him be with. We'll let him be with one, and either you accept him or you don't accept him. And he used tactics to try to keep her there. I'm sure. I'll stop paying your rent, or this, or stop having gone about your business. Oh, baby, I need you back. Playing manipulative games that a lot of people do, both men and women, when they want to hold on to something that they not ready to let go for whatever reason or another. But there was just some interesting stuff that came out. They talked about another well-known celebrity icon. That was a rapper, him and his wife, aka girlfriend / wife, whoever it is, because they're trying to throw you off. So it's only two options, really. It's either going to be Jay-Z or it's going to be Kanye. And speaking of Kanye, he came to the courthouse, but the marshals would not let him in, because they felt like if he came in there, it would cause up a stir. Now, one would wonder, the very day she's talking about, or the day before, she was talking about a famous rapper, now an iconic rapper, shows up to the courthouse but isn't allowed to come inside the courthouse because you might persuade a jury. That seems a little odd. Who told him? Well, unless he heard it, like we all heard it, and then he was like, oh, no, I know she ain't finna spill the beans on me, okay? I don't know. So if it is him, allegedly, or whoever it is, whether it's him and Bianca, you make my world go. My country Wayne fans know Bianca. Who do they know who that is? Ew. Whether it was him and Bianca or Jay-Z and Beyonce, whoever it is, who knows, okay? But one of those, because we know he was well connected to both, his Miss Jane, Mary Jane, feisty Jane, might I add you, because she be going back and forth with that defense attorney, and throwing little jabs and shots. Don't seem like a woman who is timid and is suffering through alleged criminal sexual, how you want to say it, trafficking situations. She seems like a mighty feisty one. More so, her homegirl tatted him up. Okay, he finally met his match, but of course he's a man, and you know what they say, when them people be snorting and on them drugs, on them drugs, you know, I'm saying it. They got a little strength to him, so he was a little bit more than she can chew, but she still know how to defend herself. She ain't one that don't know how to. She's just not coming off to me like she couldn't, if she really wanted to, get away, by all means necessary. You know how some women say, including myself, you put your hands on me, your mama gonna be buying a black dress. Yeah, she seemed like she's one of those. But she got to play the role in order to get this, whatever she is trying to get up out of here. Like, and like I said, I'm not trying to downplay the abuse, because clearly there was abuse, but I don't think it was on the same level as criminal like it was with Cassie. But hey, we only need Cassie, we don't need him, we don't need her, you know. So I'm not really sure, I'm not really feeling it here. I know some seem to think that, oh no, she's just this bad. Yeah, her whole demeanor is just not saying that. There was something about a cell phone that was discovered that P. Diddy had with some evidence on there. Everybody keeps scamming over, but nobody ain't really talking about in detail. There's also the issue where juror number 6, the prosecution was wanting juror number 6 to get up out of that courtroom. Now, some say they don't, well, all say they don't know exactly what it's about, but it's probably not anything severe to the extent of the trial, more so maybe because of paperwork. And we all know what's going on in LA and Chicago. So if they got somebody up on that stand that ain't supposed to be here, you know they've been brought ISIS up in there real fast. And that could explain why. No, then with Kanye, not that he ain't supposed to be here. I'm just saying with the jurors. So we all know what's going on with Trump and his devious behind. So I don't think he's going to pardon him. By the way, he got Elon Musk up his behind right now. We all know what's going on in LA and Chicago. Please pray for those people over there, because people are still human. You need to treat people like they are, not treat people like they're animals. And like, that's why I say, even with Jane, although I don't think she was a victim in this scenario, she still is a human and didn't or shouldn't have been treated this way. I'm not going to say didn't ask for it or didn't want it, because she herself kept saying she wanted to do it for him. Although she came back and she said that she felt like a garden tool, and that most of the time she was faking it when it came to him. She was just trying to do that because she didn't want to make him mad, or she wanted to please him. But she also told a story about where she flew out with one of the ex-workers out to LA, and she ran into this unknown rapper who's also seeming to think it is heavily on the side of Kanye, and Kanye did show up at the courthouse today, but just wasn't let to come in January of 2024. Now, sources are saying that in January, Bianca's birthday was in January, and they had a whole birthday celebration, allegedly, in Los Angeles. So that kind of put Kanye and Bianca, Bianca, however she pronounced her name. I just want to sing that little song from Country Wayne on here in January, around that time, in that area. So more than likely it's probably, him. But she ran into him where she also saw the ex-worker, Antoine, whatever, however many names he be going with. And they was having their own freak off. And she admitted she flashed everybody and showed them her tatas during this time. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is not giving like you were pressured. This is giving like you want to. But anyway, she was saying that the iconic rapper was saying how beautiful she was, and he wanted to try her out. And the defense was like, how did he even know you do this? Like, why would he just say this to you out of the blue? And she was like, I don't know, I guess Diddy must have told him, or he must have heard it from somebody or whatever. But she felt comfortable enough to flash herself, and with them. And he was trying to make the iconic, and his girlfriend was trying to make arrangements so they can join in with the freak off with her and Diddy and whomever they chose, possibly Antoine, to do this thing with them, this freak off with them. It's kind of hard to talk about this without really going into grave detail. Without going into grave detail, and she was explicit, you hear me? But anyway, Diddy found out about it, and he got upset with her and cussed her out, wrote her all kind of nasty texts, and he was like, how could you go to another man freak off? How could you do me like that? How could you be with another man at another man freak off? Diddy, are you serious? How could she be with at another man's freak off? You have her with multiple men, so that's how she can do it. I mean, y'all, this is this is mind-boggling. That these celebrities, how they done sold, they sold for just the mighty dollar and for the pleasure of SCX. Like, they putting way too much importance on that. Like, yeah, we're human, we do it, but to this extent, like, this is crazy. This is just. With her, anyway, with this particular witness right here, anyway, although she's dropping a lot of gems and she's confirming a lot of stuff, so maybe that's why they needed her and not necessarily needed her on the end of being a victim, but just for the information, so they had to portray her as a victim to get the information. Now, that's the only way I can see this, as to why the prosecution even first wanted this woman to begin with, because I'm just not seeing it when it comes to the victim status. Was she a victim of DV? Yeah, she was. Was she a victim like Cassidy, far as trafficking? No. Now, was she a mule, and did she move drugs? Yes, she did. Now, did she do it because she was trying to help her man because he would provide her this money? Who knows? Don't know. So this is where they're going to have to figure this out. But with her demeanor, with everything that she's doing, with the flashing, with the, oh yeah, and by the way, when Diddy found that out, he made her have the big O, do O on Antoine. But he was just fussing at her about being at another man's freak off where he was, but he wanted her to get down like that, and you watch? Y'all, this is crazy. This whole thing is crazy, nasty. I'm surprised every last one of them ain't around here with the gift to keep on giving. I mean, that thing with the 3-letter words. Oh, well, actually it's the 4-letter words, but yeah, that with the big H. I'm surprised they don't have this, because all this SEXing and with no protection and doing all these DRUGSs and all this other stuff, and hundreds upon hundreds. Normally you hear a guy that say they don't slept with that, but for a woman, that is just ridiculous. Yeah, girl, you done had enough for the rest of your life. You don't need no more. You need to go on. You need to stop. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Cause, and he need to stop. Well, he finna stop, or either somebody finna start on him. I don't know. Does he need to be in jail? Absolutely, he needs to be in jail. For all the stuff that he has done to these women and everything. And but Jane, I'm sorry, she's just looking to keep a check coming in. That's all she's looking to do. And do I believe she didn't enjoy some of this? Absolutely don't believe that at all. I think she enjoys it right now. She just has to tell the story that she has to tell it in order to get what she needs to get. Y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this, because basically this was the whole wrap up for the past 3 days. We had to listen to this crazy behind story this lady has been telling. That is, I'm not gonna say it isn't the truth, because it's the truth. But the truth is, man, this is not giving victim. Not at all. I'm sorry. I know I probably get people, oh, how are you gonna say she's not a victim? Nah, she ain't no victim. She ain't no victim. Not by a long shot. Not the kind of victim that they're saying she is. She's a victim. She's a victim, and somebody need to make sure she's all right. Because something ain't right. Yeah, anywho, as always, be your brothers and your sisters. Keep God first. And toodles. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, y'all. All right, talk to you later.